Hello everybody, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Adam, Ben and Joshi. If you've not seen these guys before, they're on the channel all the time. Where the hell have you been? Slacking off, I see. Oh, before we get started, those of you watching on Facebook, we are 400 likes away from 400,000 on Facebook. So tell your friends, tell your neighbour, get it shared, get this video shared and see if we can get over 400,000 while the video's going.
Hey,
that would be absolutely epic. Now, we are going to be talking. This is a huge debate about Manchester United's season coming forward. We are going to get clipped up to death because everyone's going to be super giddy, super excited, and we're going to say we're going to win everything, and opposition fans are going to completely laugh at us when we don't manage to win absolutely everything. But the first thing we're going to talk about today is the league. Adam, in the league, where are Manchester United coming? I've got to nail you down to a prediction, so I don't want you to be saying, oh, I think top half is probably a good finish for us. I need a position from you.
Has produced Crispin in your ear again, forcing you to do things. That's what's been going on, Steve.
No.
All right. Premier League, bread and butter. This is the main one for me. It's the only thing I care about obviously, I like the cups. I like the FA Cup. I like the League Cup. I want to do well in the Champions League. But when you win those things and you're not champion of England and you're not your league champions, I don't think they count as much. And I just think we have to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. It's been too long. I think it's been the longest period of time where we've gone without a Premier League title. The form at home, the form in the league last season wasn't bad, but at home it was frustrating. And I think over the course of a season, your season is defined by how well you do in the Premier League. Look, we won 2 cups last season. It was great. We had 2 great days out, one at Wembley, one in Stockholm. But the main feel of the season comes from how well we did in the league, and we didn't do that well in the league, and that's why it felt a little bit Whereas if you have a good season in the league and week in, week out, you're putting teams away, and then the cup games, they become even better as well, and they feel better. So we have to get it right in the league. It's that important, and I think we're not that far off. When you look at where we went wrong last season, we probably could have performed better in the bigger games against the other top 6 sides. But I mean, at home, if we put teams away, put teams to bed, we would have been, there or thereabouts for the title. So that's what the aim has to be this season.
So what? I need a prediction from you. Where are we finishing?
No, you want predictions all out straight away?
I want a prediction, yeah.
I think it'll be, like I said last summer, I think it'll be between City, Chelsea and United. Obviously, I think it'll be closer this time. Am I going to say Jose's second season syndrome kicks in again and he wins another title? He's never not won a title in his second season. And
God, you're teasing it out of us here, aren't you? Jesus, where?
No, you know what? We're going to win the fucking league, lads.
Thank you. Joshi, pile in with some more delusion.
Well, I mean, I agree with what Adam said about the league being your bread and butter. That's the thing that I think we should always. That's the number one priority every season. And it's been a while since we've won it in terms of since it was the Premier League and not Division 1, etc. So look, that's got to be our focus. It's got to be our priority. But the thing is, we're going from a position.
What are you on about? It's been a while since we won it, and it was the Premier League and not Division 1.
It's been a while since we've won the Premier League, right? As in 4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, we went longer in the past.
You didn't say that
without winning it.
Yeah, no, he did say that.
What I meant. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
You're trying to be clever again.
Yeah. The point is, it should be our focus. It's our number one priority. It's on number one priority next season. The thing is, we're going from 6th to 1st is a massive jump. Just even when you take into account our signings. So it's difficult to say to give a specific prediction as a fan. Obviously, given the outlay, given the sort of excitement surrounding some of our players, and actually, the key to this isn't necessarily who we've signed. It's Jose Mourinho getting more out of players like Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Mkhitaryan, Paul Pogba. Look, they all in their moments had good bits of the season, and Martial less so. But overall, they all need to step up a bit. Pogba needs to be that dominant force this season. Martial needs to be way more consistent. Mkhitaryan, again, way more consistent, for the team to then start elevating up into those positions where we're talking about, challenging and hopefully winning it. So he will earn his money not from the signings that come in. Obviously, they're a big part of what's going to happen. Potentially, if we get one more in the position, that will obviously contribute. But it will be what he does with what we've already got, his coaching, and what he does with those players that clearly have talent, clearly have ability, but didn't necessarily show it consistently through the whole of last season. And if he can start to get that into the side, then the signings on top on a bonus, then I can see us challenging right the way up until the end of the season. But yeah, you can't in any situation, especially in recent years, predict exactly who's going to win.
Well, that's what I'm asking you to do, so stop beating around the bush and tell me
as a fan who clearly knows everything, and I've got really good track record of predicting things, I'm going to predict first just because I'm a fan, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'll probably get slated by lots of other fans, but anyway, that's where I'm at. And especially if we go out there and get the sort of last sort of attacking signing that we seem to be looking for at the moment.
This entire video is going to be a clip-up gold mine for everybody on Twitter, so don't worry about it. Ben, now, Joshi just said, sixth is a long way to first for a team to go, but when you look at where Chelsea and Leicester come from, do you actually agree with that? Is it possible to go from where we was in sixth, considering that, we probably wasn't the sixth best team in the country last season? I think we kind of tossed it off a little bit towards the end. Do you think it's realistic to win a title this season?
You've just basically said what I was going to say. I think we binned it last season, didn't we, really, at the end of the season, which can't really give us a realistic look on things. We were closer to the top four at times than a sixth place team should have been. So it's not a case that we played for sixth place. It's a case that we played to win the Europa League. So I don't really think that the difference between us and City is that major. I don't think the difference between us and Liverpool is much at all, especially with the summers we've all had. I think it's going to be interesting. The first round here isn't really a massive debate. I think we should be battling to win the league this season. We should on all fronts be looking to win the league this season. I think that whole thing that Adam said about Mourinho's second season syndrome will be quite fun to watch and see it unfold. Will we be there the whole way? Will we have a surge around Christmas in January? Will we sustainably play the right football and grab the points throughout the whole season? How are we going to play it? And the systems as well. In pre-season, we've been toying with systems. So it'd be interesting to see if we stick with the same sort of 11, the same sort of squad in a whole, and also use the same system game in, game out, week in, week out. And then when the Champions League games come, what sort of happens? So it's going to be interesting. Interesting what other managers are going to do as well. Pep, Klopp as well. I mean, will Liverpool have Champions League football after these qualifying rounds coming up? It's going to be an interesting one. What signings is City still going to make? They've made some improvements defensively, but all in all, what are they going to do? I think United have got a good enough squad this season to challenge for the league. I'm not going to agree with finishing top this season because it doesn't matter who I've spoken to. I've said I still think Chelsea have the better squad. So I'm going to go with second this season.
No, I disagree with that point. Chelsea have got a much smaller squad. They've lost Diego Costa, Alvaro Morata.
Last year either. They've got
I think the thing with the squads and the systems, for me, I think Chelsea have settled in a system. I think Chelsea have settled in a whole sort of dynamics within the club. And speaking to Chelsea fans, they're very confident going into this season. I think that Matic go was a strange one, and some of the young players now also is a strange one. But I think all in all, I think Chelsea have got what it takes to win the league this season on all fronts.
I'm not debating that. What I'm debating is whether saying they've got a better squad is different to saying they've got a more settled system and a more settled team. I think overall they're lacking up front, and Morata is not proven in this league, unlike Lukaku. That's a different debate which we've already had. They've got issues with Diego Costa. Hazard might be a target for the likes of Barcelona now that Neymar's gone. That's an issue. It's just sort of up there. They've got issues with in the wide positions. They've tried to sign Walker. They've tried to sign Mendy. They need some backup in those areas. So I'm not going to say Of course, they're they're contenders. They're current champions. They looked imperious once they switched to that 3-4-3. But the idea, what I disagree with is the idea they've got a better squad. I think there are issues that they need to address. Similarly, we did, and we are, and similarly, City did, and they are as well. But I quite like the look of our squad at the moment. I think we're still slightly light up front, not up front, but sort of in those wide areas, and hence the Perisic rumours and potential other attacking players. But I think the squad itself as a whole, in terms of depth, I think we're looking pretty good. And the first 11, the key to Mourinho's signings are every single one of them improved the first 11. None of them are, or should do. With Lindelof is probably the question where he needs to settle in. Ibrahimovic is obviously gone, but he improved the first 11. Lukaku's come in. He's going to improve the first 11. I think that's the key. So it's different requirements in the squads, but I think we're looking pretty healthy, hopefully.
We're going to come to you guys in the comments as well, so make sure you get all your comments in below and I'll read some of those out. McKola, these two are going on here about the difference in the squads. I personally really happy with pretty much most of United's squad at the moment. I think we easily stack our squad up against any in the league.
Yeah, I agree with Joshi there. I think Chelsea have gone replacing. I like Morata, but I think he's going to need at least a season to fully settle into the Premier League. And I think replacing Diego Costa, who is that. They've just gone polar opposites to what they had, and I think they have gone backwards. Not saying they're not going to win the league. Of course, they're going to be challenging for it. But I think the addition of Champions League football to them as well, with the squad that they do have, they've lost John Terry. Will there? I know he didn't play much for them. Will there be a reaction to that? I'd like to think no, because I'd hate to think John Terry is that important to anybody. But you never know. So there's a few question marks over Chelsea. Obviously, a lot of question marks over Man United as well. Speaking about our squad, I am really excited by this squad. I think there's areas where we can improve on. Of course, there's areas where you can improve on. There's always areas you can improve on. But looking at this team, it really does excite me. When you look at our goalkeepers, for example, we've got the best number 1 goalkeeper in the world. We've got the best number 2 goalkeeper in the world, and we've got the best academy goalkeeper in the world. It's some riches to have in that goalkeeper area. You look at left back, Luke Shaw, who I have high hopes for. So I'm really hoping he can do something this season. I know some people have their doubts about him, but then you look behind him, we've got Rojo, Darmian, who can also play there. Right back, Valencia, Fosu, Darmian. Centre half, we've got plenty who can play there now. Midfield, Matic has come in and brought us options. The only place haven't got depth is the left side where Martial plays. And you know what? If Martial plays there every single game, I don't care about depth as long as he's not injured. I genuinely don't. We need to be playing Anthony Martial. People say he needs to improve. He needs to add consistency to his game. How do you do that if you're sat on the bench every other week? How do you do that? I think Anthony Martial is a player that has so much potential, so much ability, and for us to stick him on the bench is a travesty, to be honest. And I think I like Jose Mourinho's comments about him, where he was asked about if he's leaving, and he said, "I've got Rashford, I've got Martial, I've got Lukaku. They all bring different things, and it's going to be good." And that excites
Adam,
me.
we're getting into individual players later. I just think, let's talk overall on the squad. I think United's squad, I think we could all safely say is up.
Do you think we're playing 3-5-2 because of the lack of us buying a left attacking midfielder and having depth in that left attacking position?
No.
So then what we're going to do is get our width from the wing backs, and then we can play Martial more centrally as one of the two?
No, I think we're playing 3-5-2 because a 3-man midfield is the best out of Pogba.
But you can play a 3-man midfield with back four.
But I think a 2-striker system at least against those small. I don't think it's going to be a default formation. I think that Mourinho's shown that he's able to be fluid in what he deploys. But I think a 2-striker system offers you so much more. And while the whole world is playing one up front, when you've got someone like Lukaku and you've got the talent of Rashford, and you've got the talent of Mkhitaryan and even Lingard and Martial, for all the different purposes that you can play them. I mean, look at the Sampdoria game where Mkhitaryan ghosted in as the number 9. He was very good at that last season, coming in off the right-hand side. But you play him centrally and you allow him to ghost in. Lukaku's going to take 2 defenders away because you need to deal with him with 2 defenders. You bring in someone like someone a bit quicker playing off him that can get to that front post or get to that back post when he goes in the opposite direction. 2 strikers is a nightmare for defenders. They've not had to deal with it for a long time, 2 strikers. They've been dealing with 1 striker between the 2 of them and letting the fullbacks deal with the wingers. So I think it's just a good option for us, and I think that's why we're playing it, because I think it gets the best out of the squad. I'm going to come to the comments now and see what some of you guys are saying. So Dean says, Conte will get sacked first. I think that's an excellent shout, mate. I also think Rafa Benitez is going to be up there.
There's no way.
It's Mike Ashley, isn't it? Ben, you are
Not
shaking
sacked.
your head in disgust here. Why
There
do you
is
think
no
Conte
way.
won't get sacked first?
As I said,
You have heard of Roman Abramovich, right? I'm just making sure.
I just think they're the most settled. Maybe using the squad depth was the wrong. So I just think they're the most settled side.
They've
just think
sacked
that last
every
season-
manager ever. They've had near enough a manager a season, and you shaking your head like, oh, that'll never happen.
I can see. I can't see Chelsea having a bad season this year. I can't see it. I just think they look more skilled. The quality they showed last year as well. The quality last year that they showed as well. I just think they were the better team in the league by a mile at points. I think only Spurs came close to them.
Where this is coming from,
I can't see them disappearing. Can't see them disappearing.
This isn't the Chelsea that they were under Mourinho, and that this is under Conte. This is flaky. This is so flaky at the moment with Chelsea.
Conte's also losing his mind in pre-season by the looks of things.
And losing his hair again.
There are issues at that Chelsea squad, aren't there? There's not the squad, the whole club. You've got not issues, but they've got Champions League coming in. They haven't really brought in the numbers in depth. That's going to be an issue. They had a really settled team last year, and that will help. So injuries might come into play. They're going to be relying on specific players being in top form because they're losing Diego Costa. I mean, we're the same because we lost Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but I think we're just a little bit more, feels a little bit more settled. So the idea that I don't think they'll walk away, run away with it, and they will certainly be challengers, but they're not unbeatable. And I do disagree though that Conte will be the first one sacked. But yeah, I don't think they're.
We've got more comments though. Let's get through the comments. Carl says the difference from Leicester and Chelsea winning the league was their lack of European competitions the years they won. I also think that played a massive factor in Liverpool's run last season because I think that squad's very, very thin. I think they're going to struggle this season. Benson Thomas says Mourinho has only the Premier League in mind, considering the signings in mind. I'm not sure about that. I think it's obvious he's building a squad. I think the depth that we've got is phenomenal. We've been playing two teams in pre-season, literally. And the difference in quality is kind of noticeable, but there's still two teams at play. Abhinav, just tuning in. What has been spoke of so far? We've been talking about the league and the depth and why Conte is amazing, apparently, according to Ben. Katie Edwards says, on paper, we look quality in attacking compared to the other teams. Worries me about the centre-back pairing, Bailey with who? We will remain to be seen, and it might not be a pairing, it might be a threesome. And that's it for the comments. So let's go on to the next one that we're going to talk about then, and it's going to be domestic cups. Now, we've had a couple of decent trips to Wembley over the last couple of years, won an FA Cup, picked up a League Cup there as well. Where do you think we're going to be doing? And do you think we're going to put any focus into these cups? Now, one of the comments there reckons that we're just going for the league. Would you like to see the League Cup used a bit more for youth? It's not really Jose's thing, is it? Ben, what do you reckon?
I think it'd be interesting because, as you said, Mourinho said in pre-season about using a squad, and that's, as you've mentioned about the depth, the young players. I think I saw that online the other day about even without putting McTominay, Mitchell, Pereira in the side, we've still got another 11 there, and Rojo as well. So I think that we could be seeing a second team in the League Cup, which is more than good enough to go out there and win it if other teams aren't taking it seriously. And I'd like an FA Cup run again as well. It's just a magical feeling about the FA Cup. It's gone a little bit, but that FA Cup final a couple of years back was something else. I was out in Dubai at a supporters club at the time, and it was just an incredible day, and it was an incredible feeling to be out in that atmosphere. And as much as I don't think they're going to be a priority, we'll see players coming through. Hopefully, there's a chance there for players to really try and stake their claim in the first 11 as well, using the cup. So, again, we're not going into Europe right now, but I think that an FA Cup run would be nice. Not too asked about the League Cup again, but the FA Cup would be a nice.
Joshi, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of priorities, the league will be one. Champions League will be up there, but whilst the domestic cups will be sort of lower, I do get the feeling that Mourinho likes the League Cup. It sort of sets a tone for the season. He likes a bit of a trophy. I'm not saying he's going to put the first 11 out. I don't think he's going to put out like a team with 6, 7, 8 youth players in it in the league. Although I'd like to see things like that happen, I just don't think it will. But he will use it to rotate up the squad. That being said, he didn't really do it too much last year. Zlatan played quite a bit in those. Pogba played quite a bit in those. So he also uses it to allow players to sort of play into form as well. So it may be something you see Lukaku feature quite heavily in that kind of area so that he can maybe bag some goals, that type of thing. So it's a difficult one in terms of predicting what will happen, but certainly they're sort of lower priority. I know what I would do, but I do get the feeling that Jose winning breeds confidence, and it breeds that winning mentality. And if you get that, the League Cup, because it had the final sort of mid-season ish, it sort of can act as a bit of a boost if you have the right mentality, use it correctly. So that might be a target. That being said, I think it's a lower priority, and ultimately the league is number one.
Yeah, I think winning is a habit, definitely. McKola, what do you reckon for these 2 cups?
2.
Yeah, with the League Cup.
We're going for 3. What about Champions League?
I'm not talking domestic cups. Pay attention.
Oh. Well, you know me. I'm Mr. International. Europe is domestic. I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, cup competitions, FA Cup. I love the FA Cup. But we know Jose Mourinho likes a League Cup too. It's like, you know how we got the Auto Cup scheme? I got my Auto Cup scheme on my season ticket this year. And I was thinking, don't matter under Jose. He treats every single game like it's a Premier League game. He did last season. I don't know whether he will this season, but with the way now we've got Champions League football, Tuesday, Wednesdays are back again. I think that makes a huge difference to us. And I also think it'll make a huge difference to the way we can balance our squad. Maybe he will have an 11 for the domestic cups and, the not in the Europa League anymore, Champions League. And for the league, he might switch it up a little bit. But
it's Arsenal that are in the Europa, mate.
Like Joshi said, I don't know about them. Like Joshi said, they're a bit irrelevant to us. Like Josh said, he may give the opportunities to the likes of Lukaku to play in the cups, so he can bang goals and he's getting goals for fun. Because at 24 years old, does he really need resting week in, week out? But I think it's a big opportunity for us to juggle our squad. We've got a great squad here. We need to give everyone minutes, and I think playing the way we played last season is not the way to go forward. Like when we played Zlatan against Northampton, I was thinking, why is Zlatan playing against Northampton? Do you know
that was a frustration last season, wasn't it? That he didn't rotate enough.
Yeah, like we had Fosu Mensah itching to go and just get some minutes. We had Martial looking miserable as hell on the bench. We had all these players that could have added more to the squad, and maybe he didn't trust them at that point, either tactically or I'm not too sure. But I think he would have built a little bit more trust up with some of these players over the summer. Having that pre-season with him would have done wonders. I'm just really excited for this season. We got such a good squad. We're winning everything, lads. Quadruple time.
That smile.
We got the big one. Champions.
We can win 5 this year, boys. UEFA Super Cup.
Don't worry about that. We can win 5 this year. 5. Right.
What's that?
The Champions League. Listen, let's get serious now. The UEFA Champions League. It's about time. This competition is going to mean something for the whole world this year because Manchester United are back in it. Everyone's going to start switching on. No one's watching football on Thursday nights anymore, apart from the South Tottenham suburb in London. But we are in the Champions League. That is the most important thing. And where do you think it stacks up amongst the priorities, Ben?
Well, it's up there, isn't it? And to be honest, with the way Mourinho likes to play a knockout competition, if we get through the group phase, I wouldn't be surprised to see us go all the way at one point. I'm not going to say we're going to win it, but to get to the final would be something just back in there. He's just a specialist at getting the best out of one-off games for me. I think we struggled, again, it's not the Europa League, it's going to be a little bit harder, I presume, but we struggled slightly towards the end of the group phase in the
You reckon, Ben? If Chelsea are in it, we're fucked.
We can't get them, though. Well, not until the knockouts anyway. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how we take to it. And again, what I spin back to is we talk about how good second season syndrome could be for Mourinho, but in other cases as well, he's known to be burning his players out in his second season too. So the Champions League is never going to not be taken seriously, being back under the floodlights.
Well, Arsenal never took it serious, have they?
Incredible. Arsenal are Arsenal. No one gives a crap about them. But it's one of those, isn't it? It's where is it? Do we think we're going to challenge for it realistically this season? So should it be up there, or is it a case that it's just such a serious competition? We've got to challenge for it. I want us to go full on for it. I'm not going to say we're going to win it, but we get to knockout stages with charge. Anything is possible.
Ben, you're going down with us today. Say it.
I'm not saying it. Not saying it. I refuse to say it. I'm not saying it. We're going to win the Champions League. No, we're not.
Yes!
Well,
Clip it up.
That can be edited. That can be edited.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And if we get back to, again, we get into the knockout stages, anything is possible. You see how Mourinho sets up teams. He knows how to win. It's a masterclass when it comes down to it. And as Adam, I can't wait.
We're going out in the group stages, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we get out of them. Then
after
we're right.
After that, yeah.
Adam, Champions League. What's going to be considered a success for us, and what would be a failure for us this season?
Oh, mate, let's just have some fun, yeah. I've missed Champions League, man. I've missed the music.
Going to proper countries for a change, potentially.
I've missed it. Like, I'm not, like, if we don't win it, I'm not going to be upset because I've missed it. Of course, we need to get through the group stages. You know, we need to get 10 points, 12 points, whatever it used to be. Remember when Fergie says, as long as we get 10 points, we're through the group. I used to love all that shit. I love the Champions League. It's back, babe.
Just
going to hear the music. It's
going
going to be nighttime at Old Trafford with Champions League music going on.
Right. Close your eyes. We're stood in the Stretford end. It's freezing, because it always is freezing, because all the Champions League fixtures are in November, and the music starts as the players come out. Oh, I can't wait. Yes. Joshi, are we winning the Champions League or what? You can get clips up and all.
Well,
Hold on, I never got to say I'm winning the Champions League.
All right, go on then.
All right, we're going to win it.
Listen, I think this whole video is going to end up on Twitter, just in different parts. Joshi, you might as well throw yourself under the bus.
Look, so the question you asked earlier was what would constitute a success, and
that's very good. Answering questions is a good idea.
At a club like United, the only thing that would constitute success is winning it. Although obviously there are different levels of disappointment and acceptable performance and things like that. Now, expecting to win it is different to predicting and hoping to win it. But obviously, we're going to win it. And
yes,
yeah. But yeah, no. Look, I think going back to what Ben said, I think it's such an important competition that it's one of those where we're not going to. We'll use a squad, but I think we'll be going all out for those matches. You know, it's not going to be one of those where, oh, okay, we're going to bring in some of the fringe players to give them minutes just so that they're ready for the later stages of the league. The Premier League and the Champions League, those are two main objectives next season. And not just from the sense that, you know, obviously we want to go into it and win it. But in the Champions League, it's also about laying down a marker to say, look, we're back. We're back where we belong. You know, we want to put in performances as well. So, you know, that's about acceptable performance within the tournament, you know, getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals, acceptable, you know, you're showing that United are now seriously back in this competition and need to be taken seriously. Winning it would be the only thing that would constitute success in that tournament. So there's a slight nuance to the way you interpret it. But yeah, those two, undoubtedly the priorities, league number one, and we'll I think, yeah, you know, we'll go all out for it. It may not happen, but but of course it will happen.
Look at the teams Jose's managed. Yeah, he won it with the two. I wouldn't say Inter are smaller than Chelsea in terms of stature and size of the club. But when he took Inter Milan, they weren't, you know, the Inter Milan that have been the biggest. And I think he's won the Champions League with lesser teams. So it's almost like when he's up against it and when he needs to do a tactical job, maybe when the onus isn't on him to attack teams. And, you know, when it's us that have to tactically do a job against these guys, and you've got the likes of Matic, Pogba, Herrera in the midfield, Lukaku up top, Martial. We've got goals in our teams. We can cause teams problems. We've got a manager who tactically is very, very aware of different clubs and how to play against different teams. So I think you can't write Manchester United off. Nobody would want to see them drawn against Manchester United in the Champions League. And I think we'll get to the quarters or something like that. But yeah, we're going to win it.
When you
That's 16 minimum.
Can you just zoom in on him and can you cut me out? Like, can you do that when you put this on
Howson,
Twitter?
how are we going to do in the Champions League?
What?
How are we going to do in the Champions League?
We're going to get knocked out in the quarter-final. On a serious note, I think we've got to reach the quarter-final, but I don't think we're good enough to be considered a semi-final team. So I think if you got to the semi-final, I think we'd probably over-egg the stage that we're at as a team right now. But you could get to the semi-final with Jose Mourinho in charge, and if you get to the semi, bit of luck, I mean, look at the ridiculousness we saw with Barcelona and PSG last season. I mean, that was the most done game in the world, and then it came back, and maybe UEFA Lona had something to do with that. Maybe they didn't. But it was an unlikely scenario that happened.
You didn't just say that, did you?
I did just say that. Deal with it. I think that if you get to the semi-finals with Jose Mourinho, I think you have to fancy your chances getting all the way. That being said, I do not consider Manchester United one of the top 5 teams in Europe at the moment, and I think anybody that does probably needs to go and have a word with someone. But that's not to say that you can't go and do something. As we've seen, Jose Mourinho's had success with those lesser teams. The best team in Europe doesn't always win the title. So we got some comments from you guys at home.
No. The best team in Europe doesn't always win it. We're not the best team in Europe. So finish your sentence.
I've got some comments to read out from everybody else.
We're going to win the champion. Say it!
I'm not saying it. We're getting knocked out in the quarters. Thank you. Right. Scancunt42 says, #find Varela. Got to find Varela. No, you got it wrong. It's Hunt. Right? Listen, pay attention. If you know South Park, you know what I'm saying. Lee MUFC says, a league and cup double. Which cup, mate? Is it the 2008 Cup double or 1994 Cup double?
Champions League.
Mickey Magic says, don't jinx it like Heavy D did. Oh, God, yeah. That got clipped up
Who's
forever,
that?
didn't it? Geezer off Storage Wars. Abhinav says, I love Adam right now. Aww.
I love you too, mate.
We got Scancunt again, says, love the Champions League. Still Shining TV says, quarters would be reasonable. I definitely agree on that one. I think that's probably minimum. If we get out of the group stage, everyone's going to be wounded.
Who wants to be reasonable? This is the huge debate.
You guys are going to jinx it. Now, can I just explain something about the jinx rule? It doesn't matter what we say, right? At all. What we say on YouTube, I hate to break it to you, has no bearing what happens on the pitch with all of those players, unfortunately. If it did, don't you think we would just all sit here and say, we're not going to win a game this year? Right? No, don't work like that. Right.
Also, the jinx rule doesn't work. The jinx rule doesn't work if we're sort of obviously joking.
We're going to talk about the players. No,
common sense doesn't work.
No. It just looks at the words you say and goes, obviously, I have to. Reality needs to change. Right, we're going to talk about the players. Who's going to be the best players for Manchester United next season? Is it going to be Timbo, Joshi?
No, it's going to be.
Look, is it Varela?
I'm really. No, definitely not.
How dare you?
I'm really excited to see. There's 2 players that I wanted to pick out. Well, there's loads that we're excited to see, but I was going to call him Anthony Pogba. Paul Pogba is obviously the man at the moment. You know, in this current Manchester United side, he's the guy with that sort of magic, that elite level talent that we want to see come out. And now, hopefully, with Matic coming in with a bit more control at the base of that midfield, we can see more of Pogba going forward. And hopefully, he doesn't have a season where he hits the crossbar 9 times and any assists he puts through people put wide and things like that. You know, then he'll get the numbers that will come alongside his performances. What I want to see more of from him is in the big games, stamping his authority on games, really dominating and using that sort of ability to get up and down the pitch to really influence the way in which we play. And I think he's probably the most excited, the player I'm most excited to watch. The other one is Marcus Rashford. You know, he just excites me all the time. You know, he's clearly got the talent, and because he's quick, it's that excitement when he's on the ball. And just watching him develop, you know, over the years we've seen so many young players come through and do really well for us. And obviously, class of '92 is the one that gets brought up the most. And that's what's really exciting, is seeing these young players come through, make an impact, and then watching them to develop and learn and hopefully become world-class stars, or, you know, at least, you know, established players at Manchester United. You know, that's what's actually fun. The real, you know, when you're looking at it, that's what really is exciting. So that's why, again, you could put Martial in that category. Yes, we signed him and we bought him. He had an excellent impact in the first season, and last year he sort of you know, he wasn't as hot as we'd like. So again, he's looked really good in pre-season, looks a constant threat, looks a bit more up for it, a lot more confidence in his plays, taking players on. And again, that's another exciting player in the squad. So it's just those 3 players, I think, that around them, those 3 behind Lukaku. I mean, it's just the potential in the attacking areas with Mkhitaryan and Mata supporting is phenomenal. So that's what I'm most excited to see. If I'm going to single out a single player, it's Paul Pogba.
All right, cool. Ben, who is the one player that's going to have you chubbed up all this season?
Yeah, I'm with Joshi. Mine would have been Pogba. I just think that in pre-season he's not just become a key player. Well, last season obviously as a key player on the pitch, but during pre-season he's also become a key player off the pitch. It seems. I just think the way that he is active throughout the whole tour, the way just you see things inside the camp, I just think is an all-round. He's turned into an all-round leader, which is really nice to see. But for me, I'm gonna go with Eric Bay. The Beast, whatever you want to call him. I'm excited to see how he progresses this year. I think he was phenomenal last season. I enjoyed watching him play. I enjoyed him in possession. I just that anger he seems to channel. He doesn't mind putting a tackle in. He doesn't mind leading the defence up. And with Lindelof in as well, if we're going to see a Bay-Lindelof partnership this season, I want to see how he comes to the forefront and starts to lead those two at the back. And as you said, as a three, to see him fit into that system as well is going to be really nice. So, Lukaku's going to be another name, isn't it? But I suppose Adam will talk more about him next.
No, he's talking about Timbo. Yeah. That's what he's about to talk about. If he's not,
is he going to talk about Timbo? No, but for me, Eric, I can't wait to see him play again. I just think he's a phenomenal defender, and he could become one of the best with us. He really could. So that progress this season is going to be scary. He's going to be the best. What? No, obviously that was a joke. That was just fitting in with the Champions League. That was not. That was
absolutely ridiculous.
That's worse than dabbing. That's blasphemy.
That's a 1-match suspension for that.
That's not a serious opinion. That was part of the Champions League. Right.
Adam, tell us how Timbo's going to do next season.
Timbo's minty.
We definitely have an agenda about Timbo, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
Listen to me. I've heard him being Buffett and all this stuff. Yeah, we sign a right back. We're stupid. We need to be giving Timothy Fosu the minutes for Manchester United. Antonio Valencia isn't getting any younger. We know he's going to be used at right back for now. We've brought in Nemanja Matic, who I think is a fantastic signing because not only is he not younger like Fabinho, who would have come and stuck around for about 5-7 years and blocked the path for Fosu Mensah, but Matic is coming in where he's got probably 3 or 4 years left in him at the top level, which would mean Fosu's got a path there to come through. But we need to give him minutes this season, and I think playing at right back, even right wing back, I think he's a bit rash. I think he needs to mature a little bit in his game to play central defensive midfield. But I think keeping him and Andreas Pereira in, I'm not saying these are our most key players, but him and Andreas Pereira are those two younger players, maybe Twanzebe as well. I think those three are the only ones that are going to get any chance in the outfield for United's team this year, in the first team. I can't see us giving any promotions to players that are in the academy, in the under 23s. I don't think we're going to have the opportunities to do that, barring a massive amount of injuries. So I think Joel Pereira, Andreas Pereira, Fosu, and Twanzebe, those four coming through, obviously Rashford's around the same age. It's so exciting, and I think they need to be made a part of this squad. They need to all be picking up at least 20 appearances each, like coming off the bench, starting cup games here and there.
To get a league title medal?
Yeah, so, well, nowadays you get them for like 3 games or something like that. So, but I think they need to be part of the squad. They need to be made feel a part of the squad. Otherwise, send them out on loan, because Timothy Fosu Mensah is too good to not be playing. Andreas Pereira is too good to not be playing. They need minutes of football. But anyway, talking about our key player, Romelu Lukaku. I said this before, and people looked at me a little bit funny or thought I was being a bit stupid when I said, I think Romelu Lukaku is an improvement on Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And this is 36-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I'm not saying that Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his peak, and I'm not saying Lukaku has already achieved more than he has. What I'm saying is, he's better for United this season than Zlatan would have been. And I think he comes in. Last season, people say Lukaku's a flat-track bully. We needed a flat-track bully last season. If we had one, we would have won the league. And I think he could be a huge difference for United this season in terms of putting teams to bed at home. In terms of, because we just didn't do it enough. And I think his strength, his ability to hold up the ball. You see what Herrera said about him. It's not just about the goals, it's what he brings to the team. And his ability to hold up the ball, allow the likes of Mickey. You see how much space Mkhitaryan had yesterday when he played with him? Oh my God. He was free as a bird. And I think the things Lukaku brings to the team excites me. And Pogba's only going to get better as well. But I didn't want to say him because he's obviously already been spoken about. So Martial, as for Martial, The boy needs to play games. Jose don't play games. He's an idiot. That's the fear I've had. I've always said about Jose, yeah. I get scared with these flair kind of players, the Eden Hazards, the Arjen Robbins. And I think I'm scared Anthony Martial is going to go down that path where Jose doesn't like him and get shot of him. But I think he's too good to be doing that.
Do you know what? I think we've got so many good talents in the team that I know they will just take care of themselves. But do you know who I don't want to see having an amazing season? Is Spanish Dave. I hope he has the quietest, oh yeah, I forgot he was playing for us kind of season that anyone ever has. Because if he has another good season, it's because we've not achieved what we need to achieve. If he's another Player of the Year winning player, then we are definitely not winning anything that we need to be winning. So as long as Spanish Dave stays here for starters and then has a 6 out of 10 season, I am well happy with that, because that means that we're going to be doing what we need to be doing.
Well, he has a 10 out of 10 season individually in the sense that he always does everything right, but it's quiet and he doesn't have to do that much,
because
is what you mean.
Never needed. Never needed. That's what I would like. Right.
Yeah.
He's not our best player.
I'm going to come to you. You're going to give me a few seconds where you're going to give us where we're coming in the league, how many of them cups we're winning, obviously all of them, what we're going to do in the Champions League, and who your player of the season is going to be. I'm going to start with you, Joshi. Just don't want half an hour. I just want you to give me the bullet points of how this season's going down. Right. Just so everybody, right, this is where you need to start clipping up everybody. This is the bit that you need now. So here you go. Make yourself famous.
So bullet points. I think...
We're going to win everything.
We're going to mount a serious title challenge and win it. I think we're going to mount a serious Champions League challenge up until the quarterfinals and then win the whole thing. And then, Paul Pogba, I think, player of the season. And what was... And the domestic cups, actually, no, look, realistically, I think domestic cups will probably try get quite far in the League Cup and win it. And and a trip to Wembley in the FA Cup.
Wow.
And win it.
Definitely. Okay, so you can pause your little video there and get ready for Ben's. Right, here's Ben's. Let's see what Ben reckons.
I'm ready for this. Right, okay, so we're going to finish second in the league.
Ooh.
We're going to come quarterfinals in the League Cup because it's not asked. We're going to win the FA Cup. We're going to win the Champions League, boys. We're going to win it. And then Pep's going to get Balder and Klopp's going to get sacked.
Okay, and you can end Ben's little clip there. Throw that out on Twitter, everybody. Right, McKola, you're definitely getting clips up.
Right, what's going to happen in 2017-18 is Fosu Mensah is going to win Ballon d'Or.
That was a given.
And that's because what's going to happen is Tony V is going to get injured. And then Fosu Mensah is going to play every game at right back and score goals and fire us to Champions League. But apart from the Champions League, we're going to win the league. I think it's been a while since we've won the FA Cup, so we might have a go at that. And our academy team's all right, so I think they might have a chance in the League Cup. So quadruples on, lads. I think the only question mark over us is the Super Cup final, because Real Madrid are okay, aren't they? They're a good team, but that's the one trophy I worry about. The Super Cup.
No one cares about Super Cup. Let's move on. Listen, here's what we're going to talk about. Manchester United. None of you mentioned we're going to win the Under-19s UEFA Youth League, because no one mentioned that one. We're clearly going to win that. Because do you know why? Because we've got Angel Gomez. That is why. And we're also going to win the FA Youth Cup because we just had it off last season. We let somebody else win it. So we're going to win both of those. And I'm not going to say where we're going to say. Look, if you can't get delusional about your own team as a fan, then who can you get delusional about?
You're not letting us get clipped up on our own.
All right, we're going to win the league. How about that? We're going to win the league with record points. We're going to have won it by Boxing Day. So how about relaxed, a lot of yous? We're winning the league. And I definitely think we're getting knocked out in a quarter-final of the Champions League. And I would like a trip to Wembley as well at some point this season. So how's about that? And we're winning the youth stuff. That's all that matters. So thank you guys for watching. And here's what else is going to happen in 2017-18. Full-Time Devils are going to get to 500,000 subscribers because you lot are going to start telling your milkmen, right? There's about 20% of you, 30% of you that are watching this video that are not subscribed. So all you have to do is go down below and press the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed and you don't want to ever miss a video for us, click the little bell as well, because then you'll get a notification every time that we upload a video or that we go live, and then you can join in and you can get your comments in with us as well. You can have a little chat with us because it is about talking to you guys as well. So Full Time Devils is going for 500,000 by the end of the season, and it's going to coincide with us winning the league and possibly the Champions League, according to these lot as well. So thank you guys for watching. Get any of your comments, questions, queries, predictions. You lot can join in as well. Do us a bullet point where we're coming in the league, what we're going to do in the Cups, where we're going in the Champions League, and which United players winning the Ballon d'Or next season. So thank you for joining us. We're out of here. See you in a bit.